Hi, my name is Christina Jacobowski, and I will be talking about how math is used in sports, specifically basketball. Probability is a key mathematical tool which can be used in calculating sports. Calculating probability depends on the size of the lead and the time remaining in the game. In most games, one team or another scores points, which leads to the quantitative study and math. This includes the role of timeouts, if there is momentum, and the design of the field or arena. The random walk method is a theory that a person starting from a particular position will take different directions purely by chance. For example, if a basketball player starts at a place, we label that origin, which is 0. For this purpose, each basket counts as 1 point, 2 points for a regular basket, and 3 points for a long distance shot. If team 1 scores a basket, then they move one step to the right, but if team 2 scores, then they move a step to the left. The basketball player's position will determine who will lead the game. If the player is in the same origin for 10 baskets, that means they have taken 5 steps to the right as well as 5 steps to the left, which means the game will be tied. If the player takes 2 steps to the right of the origin, then there have been a total of 6 steps to the right and 4 going left, meaning team 1 is winning by 2 points so far. You can calculate the probability of a tie after a given number of points have been scored by using the Arc-Sin law. The calculation to figure out the probability is 1 divided by pi square root of lower t times capital T minus lower t. The big T represents a constant variable for the amount of a time a game lasts. Lowercase t represents the length of the game that time has passed. The 1 represents that the game is already over and you would like to use 0 if it hasn't started yet. When graphing the numbers for different values of lowercase t, the curve starts high when it's at 0 and bends down in the middle and rises instantly as it approaches to 1. With this being said, the lead of the game can change most at the beginning and end of the game. Since the curve bends down in the middle, this indicates that taking the lead won't change as much during that time frame. Researchers took into account that finding the probability of sport contests cannot be calculated by using the coin toss method. Their theory suggests that when a team scores, they have a 36% chance of scoring again. Researchers examined other sports, including football and hockey, but found the statistics to vary since scoring is more inconsistent and less frequent than basketball. The random walking method would work in this case because when one team scores, the other team gets an offensive opportunity to score. Statistics is very important in math because it is an analysis, interpretation, or explanation of data, which is helpful in finding probability. In basketball, there are statistics to players making shots, including 3-point shots, inside shots, free throws, blocking, steals, and assisting. Statistics drive the outcome of the probability of a game and predict the outcome overall. One of the most important things to find when dealing with motions and forces is knowing the height of an object and how fast it will rebound when hitting a surface, such as a basketball court. You can figure this out by using the coefficient of restitution, which is the ratio of the final to initial velocity between two objects after they collide. The value of the two coefficients of restitution are EY and EX. E represents the ratio of the object's speed, while the X represents the x-axis, and the y represents the y-axis of the court. The equation for this calculation is the speed of the y-axis equals the velocity of the y-axis divided by initial velocity of the y-axis. The speed of the ball when it hits the surface is measured by the speed of the ball's contact point. Since the initial and final velocity will be in different directions, one will be negative and the other will be positive. You can add a minus sign in front of the ratio, which will make it positive. To find the speed of the ball's contact point on the horizontal x-axis, we use the equation EX equals a negative Vx final velocity divided by Vx initial velocity. The object's speed will have a higher elasticity if it approaches at the x-axis. when a ball's initial speed increases, the ratio of the object's speed on the y-axis will decrease. The speed of the ball will increase on harder surface and decrease on soft surfaces, including grass and dirt. Balance forces are also shown when a ball is at its resting point. For example, gravity pulls down on a basketball when the ground pushes the ball back up. Since these forces cancel each other out, the ball remains still. Unbalanced forces cause a change in motion of an object. Newton's first law of motion states, a body at rest will remain at rest, and a body in motion will remain in motion until acted upon by an external force. Anything cannot stop, start, or change directions all by itself without an outside force acting upon it to change. Newton's second law of motion states, the force acting upon an object is equal to the mass of the object times its acceleration. In an internal reference frame, the vector sum of the forces of an object is equal to the mass times the acceleration of an object. The third law of motion states, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This law describes what happens to a body when a force is exerted on another body, making the second person push back just as hard. Like I said before, we have balanced forces and unbalanced forces. For balanced forces, the ball is at rest, which the net force is at 0. Gravity pulls down on the basketball while the ground pushes the ball up. Since the forces cancel each other out, the ball remains still. For unbalanced forces, we have when a basketball is thrown, the force is greater than the ball, making the ball fly in the air towards the hoop. Velocity can accelerate vertical, which is upward, or horizontal, which is sideways. As the ball shoots up, the force of gravity pulls it back down, which slows the vertical velocity back to 0. When it reaches peak, it accelerates back towards the ground. You can calculate this by multiplying the time in the air by the ball's horizontal velocity. In conclusion, math is very important in sports that calculates probability and motions of forces. I hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed my video. Thank you.